Hello and welcome to the Merle and Locke podcast. I'm Merle.
And I'm Locke.
Set sail and low expectations for everything nerd, accompanied by a healthy, albeit shameful hope, and a pointless banter, lack of focus, and questionably acquired knowledge.
And more.
And more. We're going to get into this new game that came out. Well, it came out probably a couple months ago now. It's a game called Schedule One, developed and published by TVGS, which is Tyler's video game studio. So it's just one guy from Australia that made this game. It is taking Steam by storm.
So I noticed. I mean, the kids are already talking about it.
So we ourselves have been obsessed with this game as of late because it is just so good.
Like Schedule One, you got me addicted to this.
Yeah. So what this is, it's a game where you come into this city. I won't spoil too much of the little story that there is, but you find yourself in this city. You need to make money, and your only way of doing so, well, not your only way, but the primary way of doing so is...
This is the only way you know how.
Right, is to produce and sell drugs.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, pretty simple. That's what everybody can default to when they find themselves in someplace new. But anyways, so first you start out by getting some marijuana seeds and you start growing your own and you cut the buds. You go through all the processes, like it has little mini games. Pop the cap off the little vial with the seed in it and put it into the plant pot with the dirt in it. And then you cover up the seed and then you do the watering and all these little mini games, which are a lot of fun. And then after you take the time to allow it to grow, you can then cut off all the buds, and then you go into a packaging station and you package all the buds into little baggies, and then you can go out and you can start slinging some dope. It's simple. It's a simple game. I mean, I say simple, but I mean, I'm sure it took a lot of work to develop this game. We're not going to discredit him, but this guy created such a fun game loop that is crazy addicting. It follows a formula that's been used time and again, of course. Earn money, buy things to make the job easier or more profitable, and you just keep upgrading as you go. It's so entertaining. You could mix your products with crazy stuff such as Coke,
not Coke.
Coke, which is pretty much Coca-Cola, but, renamed.
It's got a different color packaging because we were told by somebody who also plays this with us that there was some issue that was happening, which I wonder at one point because it was a red can and I think it looked a little too similar, so they had to change the coloration. Understandable.
There's been a lot of copyright infringement going on with the game. I get it. I understand that it's something you have to avoid. But this guy, he does this by himself, and he was just making references, kind of doing things a little bit obviously. Naturally, all these brands started attacking him, and he's like, oh, I got to change a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of people are saying that this guy's being personally attacked, which I don't know that there's headhunters after this guy. I just think that, he was a little bit too frivolous with the references and started getting him in trouble. But this game that this guy has developed has been absolutely wonderful and a nice change of pace. It's always these indie games, that just come out of left field and you're like, how the hell? And he made something that's beating out so many different bigger titles.
I do feel that because of the topic of the game, right, a lot of big companies would not want to even test the waters on this. They'd be like, no, we don't want to touch it. Let's not even entertain the idea. So good on them, branching out and going for something new.
This guy, Tyler's, showed that he definitely has some testicular fortitude. That's for sure. Yeah.
Balls of steel, this one.
Doesn't have lawyers hovering over his shoulder and be like, no, that's a bad idea. No, that's a bad idea. No, don't do that. And he doesn't have to worry about as far as producing the game. He apparently doesn't have people to answer to. Just give him complete creative freedom to just do whatever. Like we said before, hiccups along the way with copyright infringement type things. But other than that, it's been absolutely wonderful. Now, unfortunately, like you said, with the whole kid reference, it has caught the eye of many youths, and my child included, which sucks. It does suck because I was playing a little bit and my daughter walked by and she's like, "Is that Schedule 1?" And I was like, "First of all, how the hell do you know what the title of this game is?" And she's like, "I know it from Roblox because everybody talks about it and how good of a game it is." And I was like, "Oh no, all these children that are talking about it now." Of course, when you're a kid and people start talking about something, you don't want to miss the bus, right? So she has been begging me to let her play this game. And God, man, it's the worst. So like I have this strategy that I've used in the past when it comes to kind of getting her away from a game.
Do you just like grab your keys and throw them down the hall? Yeah, there you go. Go get the keys.
Unfortunately, no. But she had an obsession over GTA. And eventually I was like, okay, you know what? You keep talking about it, you keep begging. Here, you can play it for a little bit. And I let her play for a little bit. And then from there, she kept asking. You give an inch, they take a mile. That's how it goes. And she kept asking, more and more to play. I was like, okay, you can play, but here's an entire novel's worth of restrictions. Time restrictions, activity restrictions, blah, 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 going through the list. And then she got to the point where she was like, you know what? I don't want to play anymore if I have all these restrictions. I ended up doing the same thing for Schedule 1. I allowed her to play the demo because there's a free demo out on Steam. If you want to give it a go, the demo is pretty extensive, but the only thing you can grow is weed. You can't get into the harder drugs.
And you're contained to a certain mile radius. You can't go out of the inner city limits.
So what I did was I allowed her to play some of the demo until she realized how much management it took to play the game. At that age, not speaking on behalf of every kid, of course, but as far as my kids goes, all this management type stuff, it doesn't exactly appeal to her, but she was interested just because a whole bunch of other kids were talking about it.
Right. Naturally.
I let her experience that a little bit to the point where she doesn't even talk about it anymore. She played it for maybe 2 afternoons, then she just never touched it again. And I was like, got it. All right.
Yes.
So that obsession is over. You can stop looking into it. Thank God.
Good thing that it requires some level of time management, setup, and all this other stuff that'll absolutely shoot down any kid's idea of actually going through
Exactly. They want that instant gratification. And
right.
You have to kind of min-max your management strategies and production strategies to succeed in that game. It just doesn't appeal. I'm not saying that every parent that has to deal with this obsessive personality should try this strategy, but I mean, it worked for me and my kid because was able to deter her in a couple days. Not saying that the game is necessarily bad. It's just the idea of drug production and getting rich off of it. I mean, yeah, there is that underlying tone, and I understand that perhaps it could be influential in kids, but at the same time, it's goofy, it's fun, it's lighthearted, but it does have a lot of inappropriate undertones. Not exactly fit for children. To each their own. If you think your kid can handle it,
good on you.
I'm not here to tell you no, of course. If you think your child is mature enough for that, then by all means, give it a go. But
I had thought about, because Steam does wonders of being like, guess who also just bought this game? But it showed that my nephew has started playing the game. And I had thought about just poking at him to be like, oh, what are you buying it for? But, he is an adult now. He's 18. He can make his own decisions. So, I'm not going to bust on him too hard, considering I play the game myself.
You always think of these guys as kids. No matter how old they are, you think of them as kids. And you have some reservations from the get-go until you realize, like, oh, yeah, right. I mean, they're old enough.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. as far as favorite bits of the game, I want to hear your thoughts.
When I first started testing it out, especially when you guys roped me into this, I was just mixing my own stuff, just random stuff, seeing what I could come up with. And I was going to start going through each combination of things that you could do.
Describe that mixing bit, because I don't think we covered that.
So the mixing bit is like you take, whether it's a low quality or good quality good, you mix that together with, let's say, give me a mixer.
Viagra.
Viagra. There you go. Okay.
Horse semen.
Or semen. That's also a good one. So you mix those things, and depending on the order that you mix them sometimes matters, especially depending on how many things you put together. Certain mixing things will change out characteristics. So if you mix Viagra and then say gasoline, the gasoline might take out a characteristic or two because of what was in it before, and because of the toxic traits that are often found in gasoline. Because I know it's wild to think that gasoline's probably bad for you.
Yeah, not recommended for ingestion.
Would not recommend. Often leads to either catching a blaze yourself or you're vomiting. Whatever characteristics the Viagra does, which usually Viagra gives you a trait called Tropic Thunder, which can probably be controversial to some.
Okay. Yeah. As far as some negative reviews of this game, there was some people fussing about things such as Tropic Thunder, which is a condition.
Changes your complexion.
Yeah, to a darker tone of skin.
Or lighter, depending on your color.
And it's in reference to Tropic Thunder, the movie, with Robert Downey Jr. doing the a white guy that became a black guy. People were saying that that was racist. Okay, sure. They were also complaining about transphobic stuff, because one of the conditions that you can get is, generizing. Generizing, yes. So it's in reference to Caitlyn Jenner, who is a transgender individual. If it's a man that smokes it or uses the drug, then they grow breasts. It's just little goofy references, but people took offense. But by all means, continue with what you're saying.
You mix all these traits together, and depending on what all's in there, there are customers who have things that they expect, things that they like, much like life, right? So you have certain things that you would like more than others. Maybe you would like being generized.
Or set on fire.
Or set on fire, yeah, if you're into that sort of thing. So you try to mix a batch that's good enough and receives a good enough price that the vast majority are going to like it. That way you can hand these out as free samples to get them hooked into your business.
Hooked on the product.
You want to get them hooked on phonics and then bring them in and start selling the hard stuff.
There you go. Making the big bucks.
And then making the big bucks.
Get the people addicted and they keep coming back for more.
That's right. Sometimes you'll just be out trying to run errands and somebody just runs up to you like, hey man, I really need the stuff. And you're like, dude, there's a cop right over there. Stop. Come here.
Yeah. But Tyler, you're doing a fantastic job. It's an amazing game. So many of my friends love it. We love it. I feel the majority of people really appreciate it. It's kind of busted down some barriers, you know. But I mean, I would recommend at least, you know, giving it a go. Have a taste for yourself or a hit for yourself and see what you think. If you enjoy the Merle and Locke podcast, please consider becoming a patron by going to patreon.com/Merle and Locke or simply follow the link in the description. Thank you.